Welcome, hello, I'm Natasha McCarthy. This is Natasha Makes, named because I'm Natasha and I make stuff, and it's as simple as that, really. So welcome, hello. If this is your first time watching, everybody's very, very welcome. We are a warts and all place where, you know, we sew because we love it, and whatever skill level that is, and so we just provide a safe platform for everyone to join in, and we love having your messages underneath. We love you guys getting involved. What I love is the wealth of knowledge that we have amongst our viewers today. So thank you very much for joining us today. We want to talk about calico. That's the start. I've got beautiful fabrics as well, but I want to start talking about calico because it is something that I think is very much used and underestimated. So I've got calico galore for you today, and we're going to make something from it. Big hint over here. This came about because my husband runs a pizza company that caters for weddings and events and things like that. And we were talking about his aprons the other day that don't fit particularly well. And I said, yeah, but you don't pay a lot for them, do you? They're £50 an apron. And I nearly fell off my seat. I was like, what do you mean they're nearly £50 an apron? And he said, oh, well, they're whatever it is, posh ones. I went, yeah, but they don't fit. What's the point in paying that money for an apron that doesn't fit properly? So I said, I reckon I can make an apron that fits for around £5. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the apron that fits for around £5. And look, you've got a nice big pocket there. You've got a trim, should you wish. And then you can adjust it to whatever size you want it to be. Oh, a bit personal there, love, sorry. And again, on the back there, it's rustic, it's gorgeous, it's as much bright and colourfulness as you want on the trim, on the pocket, to any length that you want, and it fits an absolute treat. So that was the deal today. And he went, really? That much? Like, yes, yes, that's it. And it's calico. So what I've done for you today, and let me just see who's here so I can tell you. What I've done for you today is to put some calico together in a mega bundle, or if you want it individually, then we've got it by the meter. All right, by the meter. This is working out, gosh, some of it is like the lightweight is, I think, 325 a meter. The medium weight is 350 a meter. The good quality is 375. And to be honest, I'm struggling to see the difference between the good quality and the medium weight because it's the same weight. And then I've got the extra wide, which is 96 inches wide. 96 inches. So that's going to be your curtain backing, your quilt backing, all of those kinds of things. So if you want a mega bundle where you get a meter of each of those, then that is on a special deal. I think it comes in at about 15 quid. I mean, wow. Wow, wow, for 4 meters of fabric. Otherwise, you can buy it by the meter. It's not cut yet. So if you wanted multiples, especially of the extra wide, if you're doing quilts, if you're doing curtains, if you're making toiles, anything like that, then that's your place to go. The lightweight that we've got, let me put them somewhere safe. Oh, here, right in front of me. Let's say hello first. How very jolly rude of me. So good morning. Who have we got? We've got Anne. She says happy Calico Day. Yeah, happy Calico Day. Elizabeth says good morning, Natasha and team and all. That looks really smart. Thanks. Thanks. I've got some gorgeous fabrics as well to go with it all. Veronica, good morning from Grimsby. And Valerie, good morning. And Daryl, hello, good morning. And Anne as well, good morning. And good morning from a sunny Plymouth, says Maria, hello. And Julia, she's happy the sunshine's back. Susan says, what? 50 quid? I know. But I'm not being funny. I did many a apron show on Sewing Quarter, and the aprons would come in like 35 quid for the fabric. You'd be like, what? By the time that they'd lined it and done this and done that, and you'd just be like, way, no way. Because you'd need a metre of fabric for the front, for the lining, so that's 2 meters of fabric suddenly if you're going to make a posh lined one, and then any extra bits and bobs and bells on. So yeah, you know, they were coming in with the fabric that you were buying yourself for like 30 odd quid. So actually to retail you'd need to put a profit on that. So I can see how it ended up being that cost. Glad I don't do his accounts, that's all I say. But yes, Susan, I had a similar reaction as well. And then he said, well, it's Crusade, you know. I don't care who it is. Ridiculous. Sarah Snaggy Fairbank Williams, one of my favourite names. Good morning to you. Is it Sarah or Sarah? Because in the States, they all spell Sarah without the H, but they always pronounce it Sarah, and there isn't kind of a Sarah, so I never know. So Sarah, Snaggy Fairbank Williams, good morning to you. Oh, you're in St Leonard-on-Sea. Well, I was born just down the road from there. Who else have we got? Joe Irving, and good morning. Alison, hello, hello, hello. And Michelle and April. April Nice Apron. That's not her name. April says, nice apron. Give you a whole new name, April. Normally you're Australian April. Now you're Australian Nice Apron, April. It's all going on. Morning, Ali. Are you feeling better, my darling? Moira, hello. And Barbara, hello, hello. And Donna, hello. And Huffy Valley. I mean, more great names this morning. Anne-Marie, hello, good morning. Welcome, everybody. And Pam as well. Good morning, lovely lady. Just nearly choked when you said how much. Yep. 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 I think because my husband swings from one way to the other. He either thinks I can do everything and then we'll go, oh, I need 20 meters of bunting. You've got half an hour, go. And I'm like, oh, trying to find the colors that this bride wants because, you know, and then we have to have the conversation that, you know, I need more than half an hour's notice. Actually, I got it done, but that's not the point. We don't encourage these things. To just not even crossing his radar that I could save him a lot of money. I know. Especially as he's got 10 of them. Sam Foster and Carol, good morning to you. Elizabeth says, brilliant business decision. Rod and back, unless you teach hubby how to sew. Yeah, I know. Jan, hello. Jackie, hello. Louise, good morning. She loves calico. Who doesn't? Sharon, good morning. Have a great show. We'll have to watch later. It's going to take my parents out today in the sun. Oh, nice. Enjoy that. And Judith and Linda, good morning to you too. And Kirsty, hello. And Judy, hello. Oh, a sunny Rain Hill, says Linda. Good. Michelle's just looking through her beautiful scrap bags. Good. Oh, I have a question for you. Would you be interested in some purely Tilda scrap bags? Just going to throw it out there. I think I know one person who would. But just if you would, I've got bits and bobs of Tilda, like long quarters and things left over just off end of bolts and things like that. Would that be something that you would be interested in? Let me know. Jane, good morning. Good morning, Natasha. Day off from grandma sitting, and we'll be seeing and watching. Sewing and watching, I imagine. Recently made an apron double-sided for my son-in-law, which was gratefully received. Well, that's just it, isn't it? Hello. Right. Hang on. Have we got confused over the instructions? So the instructions for the apron alone are $5.99. And then if you want it with the cord, then that's $7.99. I think they should be two separate things. I think Emma loaded those this morning. So we just need to get that right. Yeah. So anyway, hello everybody. Lots of you watching this morning, which is absolutely lovely. Oh, a sunny Saltash in Cornwall. Gorgeous. Right. So This is, I don't know why I was half asleep this morning when I cut this. This is the lightweight. I have to label it all for myself. So this would be, if you're making toiles and things like that. Also, I don't know about you, but if I use a white on a cushion at any point, then I often back it in calico, just so that I'm not having to use an expensive light coloured fabric to give it just that little bit of oomph. So a lot of my cushions will be backed with a calico, or if you're doing any embroidery, it's great for embroidery as well. It's just fab. So this is the lightweight one, and again, they are so inexpensive, but everybody should have them in their stash. They just should. So I use these for bag linings, curtain linings, cushion backings, innards, just all sorts of things, really. It's the most versatile. And if you don't know what calico is, it's basically an untreated cotton. So it's woven in exactly the same way as your normal cotton fabric would be, but it hasn't gone through all of the processes, which is why it's less expensive, because it hasn't had as much done to it. So you will still see some of the seeds in there off the cotton plants. It's lovely and natural. I was trying to find actually earlier the Tilda quilt that I started a couple of years ago, and every time there's a new collection out, I keep a charm pack and I add it in, and I'm just doing charm pack square and then a square of calico, because it works with all of those sorts of things. It's that lovely natural soft colour as well. So for me, calico is big in my world, and that's the lightweight. Now I've got under here as well, I've got some beautiful fabrics that are going to go with it as well this morning. This is the extra wide. This is 94 inches. I've got some incredibly long curtains just behind that camera actually, and this would be the sort of length that I would need calico wise. In fact, all of my sitting room curtains, I never quite got around to backing those, and it does show, you know, it really does show when, and thinking that we've just turned on the heating potentially. Look at that, 96 inches. It's a really inexpensive way to back your quilts as well. Wash it, do pre-wash it. There's about a 10% shrinkage on calico, there or thereabouts. It's a little bit more than your normal cotton. So your normal cotton will shrink between 6 to 7%, unless of course it's the new Tilda fabrics, in which case they only shrink to 3%. Woo! Which is another reason why they're so gorgeous. But generally cotton will shrink. So pre-wash, pre-shrink gets rid of all of that, but again, how handy, and it has just made me realise that actually I do need to back my curtains, but the more it's washed the softer it gets. It's just one of those things that is just really, really lovely. Use it for your dog beds, use it if you're making bean bags. Then what I would heartily recommend is doing an inner bean bag, so you can take the outer off to wash and the beans don't go everywhere. Again, calico is something that I use for that. Gosh, I didn't realise how much. It's only once I start to think about it that I realise how much I actually use it. This was made out of the medium weight. Let's have a little look, shall we? Needs a bit of a press. There we go. But this is it. So this is the apron that we're making today, and it is so simple. It's a beginner's make. Very simple, very straightforward. If you wanted to, out of just a metre of calico, so that's less than £5, out of a metre of calico, you could, if you wanted to, you don't have to use the eyelets if you don't want to, and you don't have to use cord if you don't want to. I just find cord nice and soft, so that's why I use that. But you have enough calico to actually make the ties out of calico. You don't have to put a fancy trim on if you want to, you know, if you're on a budget and you want to just make some of these, downsize them, make them for the kids. Wash and wear, pop them in the wash, get going again. Dog beds, stuff like that, they're just so simply useful. That's the thing. Do you want to see it on? I'm gonna do nasty things with my microphone. Let's try that. There we go. £5. And it's going to do everything that an apron needs to do, quite frankly. Craziness. So there we go. That is the apron that we are making today. I'll just take it off so that I can refer to it. Plus, she looks a little naked. Otherwise, there we are. Spin her around. Whoop. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, so let's have a look at some other fabrics that we've got for you today. I've added in today some half-metre heavens of beautiful fabrics that happen to look great with calico as well. So these are, all of these pattern fabrics today are from Art Gallery Fabrics. Their slogan is feel the difference, and when I was cutting these this morning, it is so true. Their fabric feels gorgeous. It feels more like a lawn cotton. So it feels finer, but it's not. It is a quilting weight cotton. It's just that the substrate that they use is beautifully fine, which means that the woven threads, if you like, are incredibly fine. They're long fibre, it's good quality, and so it's tightly woven, which means that it's going to wear really, really well. And that's what we want for some of the projects that we've got today. Now this is called Jilly's Wishes in Cool. It's by Emmy Grace. Let me show you here. And you see, if I whack a bit of calico next to it, how beautifully does that go? Just gorgeous. Now you see, there's no reason why you can't make your tea towels out of calico and then bind it with a bit of something pretty. Beautiful. So have a look on the website, www.natashamakes.com. Everything is tagged under today's show. You can watch live on today's on the website. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch on Facebook. But if you're heading to the website, then of course you'll find all of the fabrics here. We have teamed this with 1/2 metre of beautiful, beautiful salt batik. Look, doesn't it bring out that colour? And that's because if you're using this on your apron, you need a 3-inch strip across the width of your fabric. That's it. You have still then got another 17 inches width of fabric, because we cut to 20 inches, not to 1/2 metre. But we still sell it as if it were 1/2 metre. So you get a little bit more. And it also allows for any wobbly cutting. Not that we do any wobbly cutting, but occasionally, you know. Or if it might just be the end of the bolt or the beginning of the bolt or anything, we tend to be generous rather than not. There we go. So that is your first one. And like I say, that is from Art Gallery Fabrics. Beautiful. Now, how about this? This is from the Forest Floor collection. Oh, yeah. And again, feels gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? And it's going in with some claret, which is just picking up this feathered detail on the moth, butterfly, whatever it is. Lovely. And if we want to bring in, there we go, there it is with the calico. So again, use your calico if you're making this. I mean, this would be an incredible bag. Then you could do binding in that, calico inner, and you're done. You'd be done for like 15 quid. Done with, yeah, that would be for 2 meters of fabric. I mean, just amazing. So that is another option. Then the third option I've got for you is by a designer called Katrina Rakelia. And this is, I want to say Clady Under Shadow. I'm not a gardener, but I know that this always comes in You know when you get a bouquet of flowers? It's one of those ones that sort of seems to last forever. It's a good one, isn't it? And look at the pink we have picked for that. Ooh, yeah. It's got lots of different pinks in here. Although I have to say, I don't know how many of you spotted over the weekend. Karen, this was your fault. We were asked for a bundle. She was trying to boost her planes. And I said, oh, what do you need? She said, pinks. I need pinks. So we put on the website for 4 half meters of plain pinks for $14.99. There are still a handful left. But look how beautifully. I mean, that kind of makes me just want to make a quilt out of those. And then, of course, you throw in the pink that you'd be getting with that half meter of fabric there. Ah! Pinks, done. But they are the 4 pinks that are the plain pink bundle, pretty and pink, plain pink bundle. And that's the pink that goes with that fabric. They are $9.99. And then this is what I edged it with. This is Urban Mod. I love this. And it looked very different on the pocket than it did to the top, depending on which bit. I'd got that bit on the pocket and that bit at the top. So again, however you want to use it. And we've put that with a gorgeous diesel blue. Now, a word about these salt batiks, because someone tried to tell me that their fabrics had a funny mark on it. And so a salt batik, I mean, this is, so she's like, oh, it's got a greasy mark on. This isn't. Salt batik is made by the dye going on the fabrics and then hand thrown salt. Salt is hand thrown over it. So every inch of it is different and it just depends on which bit. And that's just a concentration of dye. And that's just part of the pattern. So please don't think that your fabric is damaged or anything like that. It's just how the salt batiks come. And like I say, every inch of it is a little bit different. Every bolt is different. But it's meant to be like that. That is the joy of the salt batik, is that it has all these different textures and details and whatnot in it. So don't worry, there's nothing wrong with your fabric. It is meant to be like that. Just save that bit for a darker bit of project. There we go. I love this because it just looks like it's underwater. Now, the other thing that you loved the other day when we did the half meter heavens on Thursday on the website was this collection, and you asked for more. This is by a designer called Stephen Wilson, and the collection is called Chrysalis. Oh, and these are all your butterflies. Now, these were all these images were made from butterflies, real sort of butterflies, and they were sort of copied, photocopied almost, and then used on a design program and made into the most exquisite print. Let me give you a wider shot of this, because this has got, it's got a bit of the old wow factor in it, hasn't it? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? So if you bought the flight fabric on Thursday, this is from the same range, and then you'd have, because we picked out that blue to go with the half meter heaven, but what about lime green? Ooh, yeah. Which if I put that there, yeah, suddenly brings it alive, doesn't it? We work really hard on trying to find colours that will work and complement. When I say we, it's me and Inga. Inga does a lot of the cutting for us and a lot of the packing now as well, because there's just too much for me to do on my own. And she loves colour, which is great, because otherwise it just wouldn't work. And so the choosing process, we rummage through the warehouse going, what about this, what about this, what about this, and then we finally agree on a colour. She'll be like, oh, I don't know about that, and I'll be like, oh, I don't know about that, and eventually we will agree on a colour, and I just think they look great. They just look great. So enjoy your colours, because you know, they're there to be enjoyed. All of these will look fabulous with your calico because calico's a neutral, so of course it's going to work an absolute treat. They are all $9.99 for your 2.5 meters. My mission has always been, do you want to see, this is a larger one, to bring you beautiful fabrics at affordable prices, because that's what I would want. And yeah, and so that feels right to me, because you know, there's no need to be greedy about it, is there? And I want everyone to have good quality fabrics that they can sew with, because your sewing experience for me has been so vastly improved by having good quality fabrics. So I want to share that, and I make no apologies for that. So let's pop those down there. Don't forget your pinks as well. So it's all about boosting your stash. There we go. And also getting to know different designers. Now, we sell a lot of free spirit fabrics, and that's your K Facet, your Anna Maria Horner, your Tula Pink. They are all under the umbrella of free spirit fabrics, and those cottons are lovely, lovely quality. But art gallery fabrics, again, it feels different to free spirit. You know they used to do those boxes where you shut your eyes and you see, you know, you have a feel and you have to guess what's in there. Always freaked me out slightly. I reckon I could do that with fabrics. I reckon I could tell you what the fabric was now, which company produced the fabric by how it felt. How geeky is that? Mastermind, what is your... I don't mind being... I'm really happy to be a fabric geek. Really happy to be a fabric geek, because you've got to geek about something, haven't you? And so I would rather... It used to be paper for me. It used to be paper, but now it's fabric. Oh my goodness, these are all my stickers to tell me, just my little reminders. Let me get those out of the way. And also so I know how many of stuff I'm loading on the website. Right, other things to make. In the newsletter yesterday, we spoke about upcycling and things like that. So I think the moment I had children, the world changed for me, and I wanted to make it the best that I could. My own little environment, I wanted to make it the best that I could. And I have a problem with plastic. And stuff that has to be thrown away. And of course, the number of nappies and stuff that goes into landfill, horrifying, baby wipes and everything else. So I use a mixture of biodegradable nappy baby wipes that go within a few weeks, and the same with the nappies. Or with Freddie, when we had our own when we lived in Cont, we had our own wind turbine, so I didn't mind using the tumble dryer all the time, and so he had reusable nappies until he was, well, just until, and that felt okay for me. Like I was happy to do that. But the things that I find I throw away are makeup removal pads, and that bugs me. That bugs me. So what I realised was you can get very inexpensive microfiber or old towels or whatever it is. Actually, these were some old nappy linings that I never actually used. And how about making your own makeup removal pads that then just go in the wash and come back out? And that's what I just wanted to show you as well today, that with your scraps, once you have beautiful scraps, what are we going to do with them? So I'm all about the scrap busting. Yes, we have big projects, we do big projects and that, but actually I would far rather have that on my skin and then just whack it in through the wash. So I've got a few of these that just sit in my bathroom. And I just didn't know if this had been on your radar, if it was something that you'd thought about doing. In our kitchen as well, I mean, this is out of the butterfly ones, so the scraps left over from the butterfly fabric. And again, old terry toweling. And that's if you've got an overlocker. They're ridiculously easy. 2 layers of terry toweling, your cotton fabric on top, overlock around the edges, and you've got a pan scrubber or a wipey downy cloth or whatever, and you can put a thing over if you want it to be, so that your hand doesn't, it's entirely up to you. But again, let's not have these scraps wasted. Old bath towels, anything like that, super easy to use. So I wanted to just show you very quickly, just in case you weren't quite sure how to even go about making any of these. And of course, the other thing is that it's super easy to make these with different substances. So you might want, if you're going to exfoliate, you might want to use an old towel that's slightly harsher. This is beautifully soft because this is what I take my eye makeup off with. And so this is a microfiber, but bamboo is great as well. All these sorts of things. So I just wanted to show you very quickly how I make the eye makeup removal ones out of scraps. I don't know. I don't know how many of you have ever done this. I know some of you have. Morning, says Jess. From a barber's in Bath. Back to school haircuts for the boys. Oh, I'm still dining out on the fact that Freddie prefers my haircut that I gave him to the one that we paid for. Yep. Still dining out on that. Apart from it did look a little bit severe, the one I gave him. Sarah says, good morning, Tash, from Sarah, not Sarah. It's good to know. It's good to know. It's, Lisa, thank you. She says, morning, just love your shows each week. Learned so much so far. Well, thanks so much. Learning as we all go along. Morning, everyone, says Rachel. I'm loving the apron. Could be adjusted. So it would be, have wide fabric over the shoulders instead of the rope. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the only reason, Rachel, that I put the rope on, and it is very soft, very soft, is just because it is so soft. So that was, but if you don't want that, then absolutely you could use whatever fabric you wanted. You could measure it around there and then just sew it onto there, or pop it through your eyelets. It's entirely up to you. It's very versatile. Now, oh, Sarah says it's Sarah. Hard sounding R. Sarah is a soft R. Yeah. You see all these things. Diane says, like clothes, they grow into their haircuts. Yes. A bad haircut only lasts like 3 weeks, right? Oh, apart from one. Oh, I did have one really bad haircut once. We'd moved to Leicestershire. Gosh, I was only 13. Can you imagine having a really bad haircut at 13? And my mum took me to her new hairdresser, whose surname was Shufflebottom. I shall never ever forget that. I think because I laughed so hard at it, because I was 13. And yeah, rue the day, mullet. That's all I'm going to say. 13 with fuzzy hair and a mullet. Teenage years were not kind to me. Now, these are the microfiber nappy inserts that were never used. What am I going to do? Am I going to sell them on eBay or what? So no. I'm going to use them. Let's recycle, let's reuse. These are perfectly good, perfectly decent to use. This is my Fiskars circle cutter. You can do these square, you can do them hexagonal. Maybe you've got one of the Creative Grids hexagonal shape cutters. Then use that, do all sorts of different colours, sizes, shapes, whatever. But for me, I like to do them curved with a flat bottom. Sits in my hand nicely there. Done. So I'm going to start off with a circle, 4-inch circle. That's it. If you've never used a Fiskars circle cutter before, let me see if I can get a better shot of that for. Oh, look, there we go. I have to apologise. I realised that this camera was horribly out of focus the other day. Sorted that out. Right, so This line here is my fabric fold line. You've got two to choose from. If you want it as a half circle with the seam allowance, then you go on the dotty line, which is down here. I do not. I want it as a full circle, so I'm going to go on this little crosshatch here. Now this is the cutter that comes with it, because like it or not, otherwise if you try to cut circles, you're going to have to invest in a small rotary cutter. So this is your blade. It looks like the hat from the Cat in the Hat, doesn't it? But you can see these grooves, and these grooves here are going to sit into the grooves of the grid, and then as soon as you apply pressure, watch very carefully about there, out comes your little mini blade. And that's why the Fiskars thingy mat, circle cutter, that's the one, is so fab. So the grooves sit in the line, so you can't wander anywhere else. I've got a couple of these in stock, and then it'll be on a delayed dispatch. I do have to apologise to the woman who is very patiently waiting for her pivoting rotary cutter. It is meant to be always in stock with my supplier, but they have struggled a little bit. I will get it to you as soon as I can. And there is my perfect circle. Let's do one the other end here. Circles are the hardest thing to cut unless you have something like this. And you can get replacement blades. So if you are someone who likes to do other crafts, paper crafts, then grab one and keep it, whoops, for keep it for your paper craft. And the number of flowers and things that you can make from these as well. All you need to do is put a little stitch around there, pull it in, and you've got a Suffolk puff. They're great. They're really lovely. Okay, so then I'm going to need some scrappage. I'm going to stick with the same fabric so that I have a full set of I'll have a full set of 6. That'd be lovely. So again, on that fold, see, these are things that you never knew that you needed until you needed them, right? I use mine a lot. So over here, line up my 4-inch crosshair on there. Bink, bink, bink. There it is. Whoops. Helps if I actually apply some pressure. But again, there it is. And here we go. And actually there is a little groove on there so that you know where the grooves are underneath. And there are your little circles. Again, if you want to overlock, you could just whiz round and overlock those. I am very aware that not everybody has an overlocker, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to show you the non-overlock way, which involves right sides together. Now what I will just do is mark off. I've always wondered actually why my machine down here has there we go, it's got marks down there to are very convenient. I mark off 2 inches on the bottom. Okay. This is so easy. If you want to pop a pin in to stop it moving, then do. From that turning through gap, lock off your stitch. Now that could be a forwards and back if you don't have that sort of locking stitch. Keep your edge of your foot to the edge of your circle, just work your way around. With a 4-inch circle, it's not that tight a curve, if you see what I mean, that you need to sort of stop every 2 seconds. But if you need to, then just do. And honestly, once you've got a stash of these, oh, I am getting dangerously low on the old bobbin thread. Now turn it through. If you want to press it then do. I run my finger all the way along that seam there. Now the other reason that I like to have a flat edge on my pad is because, quite frankly, trying to make a circle is a nightmare. So I thought I'd just make a feature out of having a flat bottom, and then if you want to press that, then do. But seriously, how quick and easy. I didn't write a pattern for these because I thought they were really quick and easy. If you want one, let me know. I can whiz you up a pattern. I'm just top stitching now, just to hold everything in place, hold that seam in place, so that they don't floof in a way you don't want them floofing once they've been through the wash. Back round to that beginning point. Another reason why having that flat bottom on your circle helps. You've got a starting and stop point, and there it is, done. Chop off your thread. Should we do one more? Come on, let's do one more, just to show you how really easy. Plus I've cut them, so you know. So measure off your 2 inches at the bottom, that way we are consistent. It's got measures on there. You're thinking, how is she doing that? Does she just know 2 inches by eye? It's clever, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be clever? No, I'm not that clever. I have got this on a centre stitch, which means it's just over 1/4 of an inch, not quite half. Maybe it's a half. Hang on, I'll get my measury stuff out in a minute, and we'll have a little measure. But basically, whatever seam allowance you start with, stick to. Round we go. And we just use reusable wipes in our kitchen all the time. Emily knows where they are now. They sit in a little Tupperware container. I use an essential oil, a few drops of an essential oil from Neil's Yard called Organic Defense, so which sort of kills germs and nasties, and it has the most beautiful scent, because I find a lot of chemical smells are disgusting. So for me, also having animals, I don't want all those chemicals. The Organic Defense from Neil's Yard is beautiful, and I just put a few drops of that in some water, and then put the wipes in to soak, and then I wipe down the surfaces, because that's the other thing. You know, you use wipes, you use a dishcloth to wipe up whatever, and then it just sort of sits around the place, and that doesn't feel great for me. So I'm like, no. And then I just keep a little tub under the kitchen sink, and where they get thrown when they're dirty, so sort of single use, but then gets washed and shoved back in the container or back in the drawer. And like I say, it's great with kids because they just have a little damp napkin to then just tidy themselves up with, mop up spills or whatever, and it absolutely saves me a fortune on kitchen towel. There you go. Done. And that's it. So just make them whatever size you want for if you're going to do your dishcloths. So the ones that we have, I was trying to work out how big they're, probably 5-inch square for the mopping up ones. And then this is 5 inches by 5 by 4 inch. And again, you can put a handle over the top or some elastic or whatever. And again, it's up to you what fabrics you want to do. This is just terry toweling, so there's a bit of good scrub. If you want them double-sided, put some tulle over there, and then that just gives a bit of extra scrub. You can put 2 layers of tulle, give it a good old scrub. So there we go. And if you want a pattern or any of that written up, then let me know. Let's make, in the meantime, I'm very happy about those. Let's make an apron, shall we? Let's do that thing. So this one was made out of the medium weight calico, and again, all of these calicos are on the website. I've got a mega bundle where you get 1 meter of the extra wide, this is what my supplier calls good quality, and then the medium weight, which again, I'm struggling to see the difference. This is the medium weight, and I'm struggling to see. Maybe once I use it, I will see the difference between the medium weight and the good quality. Do you know what? There's 25p difference in the price. And then there's your lightweight as well. If you want 1 meter of all of those so that you have it all, then grab that. It's a great price on the website, I think $14.99, something like that. But then if you want them by the meter, and we are cutting these by the meter, then do just pop on the website and grab those, pop them in your basket, and off you go. So, oh, that was what I was going to say before, was, yeah, if you want curved edges, just grab your curved corner cutter from Creative Grids and curve those corners. Yay! Okay, let's have a little look. So this is what they term the good quality one. I have drawn out my template already, so that's already on there, and you can see just how much I'm going to have left. I could make Captain Small, my daughter, I could make her a pinny out of this as well. Oh, we could have matching. Beautiful thing, beautiful thing. Yes, 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 yes. Or Fred's for when he does his gluing, sticking and gluing and glitter, as it was the other day. We've still got to finish our dinosaur mosaic out of all the stones he's found in the garden. Fun times. I don't know if we're going to have a wall that's going to be solid enough to hold this thing up by the time that he's finished. Anyway, what have I got underneath here? I could cut this, I could do whatever. I just wanted to show you our electric scissors. I don't think you can ever actually hear when I'm on air the zzz that carries on over there whilst we're on air. The amount of cutting that we do, we can easily on some days cut continuously for 8 hours. I think the other day with the tilde, I ended up cutting 32 bolts of fabric. Now there's no way that I would be able to do that with a rotary cutter and a ruler lining everything up. It just wouldn't be feasible. So these have been our saving grace, and we've got a couple of these now. If you are a hobby sewist, is it worth you getting them because they are expensive? Nah, maybe. It depends if you what you're cutting, really. These cut through multiple layers brilliantly. They cut through leather, they cut through all sorts of different fabrics. They are an absolute godsend for us. Like I say, they're not cheap, so if you're just starting out, you might balk at the price. We did have them on a special offer the other day, so well done to those of you that managed to pick it up there. But that was on our deal of the day, so that now won't happen for a little while. And again, dressmaking, this is absolutely perfect because you can go round those curves. Easy, easy. And then off you go. Now, you've got a lot of fabric left over here. Thinking making aprons with the grandkids and tie-dye them. Lorraine, of course, because calico is untreated, it's absolutely perfect for dyeing as well. So they can have them whatever colour they want, and you've got a great excuse to, or you're going to do natural dyes. You're going to go blackberry picking and then blackberry dye them. That would be fun. So in the instructions, it shows you how to make this. Yeah, so the good quality one, I would say, I don't know, I can't tell the difference. Hey, what do I know? Whether it will just be, because the weight of it is the same. Don't know, all looks good to me. Now then, your pocket, let's see. I cut that on the fold, so it's nice and simple. And let's cut the other pocket on the fold as well. I can't remember what size I did it to now. Hang on, where did I write my measurements down? Here we go. I did it, apparently, so my notes tell me. Whoops. 10 inches. Okay. Inches by 14. But again, your pocket size can be whatever size you want it to be. And it's done on the fold. You just even up that. And we can start the pocket straight away actually, because it's super easy. This is a great beginner's make, and like I say, calico is hard wearing, wash, wear. The best thing about it, really inexpensive. There we go. So you're going to have loads left over. So my starting point will be 1/4 inch to sew just down those 2 long sides. That's it. So again, let me give it a, actually no, it does feel different. Oh, helps if I plug in the iron. Yeah, no, I can feel it now. Yeah, ever so slightly different. Right. So just sewing down 1/4 inch. Actually, no, I'll keep it on a normal one. You can go backwards and forwards if you want to secure that stitch, entirely up to you. And then down the other side. I am going to be playing Bobbin Chicken today. It's going to run out at some point. So as soon as you've cut that, then what I would do is just trim those edges. Get yourself your turning through tool and turn through. There was a lovely thing ages ago on Facebook about the uses of the pinny, and you know that it was somewhere to dry your hands, to collect your apples from the garden when you didn't have enough hands, for shy children to hide in, and all these things that I just hadn't really thought about. So that's so true. The number of times that I can't quite find a towel, I just end up wiping wet hands down the backs of my legs or something. It's ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. So just give that a little press there. Obviously, I would recommend pre-washing this first. I didn't quite get around to that. So on my head be it. So with these, you are just going to need, in whatever fabric you choose, should we choose a different one? Shall we? Here we go. Let's go with this one. It's going to make a nice trim as well. So, just a 3-inch strip, width of fabric strip. Just fold that. Oh, hello. A little bit of sneaky cave hanging on there. So 3-inch strip width of fabric. I always, whenever we get new fabrics in, I'll always take off a long quarter just to play with. Is that bad? And then, what I would suggest you do is cut a piece that is about, could go almost an inch over either side here, and just cut that. You don't have to be exact. And then on my pressing mat over here, we're going to press it in half. You can finger press it first if you wish. If you want to use your best press, then do. Actually, this fabric presses really beautifully. Open it out. So it's as if you were making a binding. Okay, so you then fold into the center, finger press. If you've got a bias binder maker, some are better than others, I'll be honest, then you could always use one of those. And again, if you didn't want to use the cord, then this would be how you could easily make your own straps if you wanted to, if you didn't want to use the cord. And you could do this to whatever width you use. I would use this process, and then I would just fold it in half in a second and then sew 2 strips down. That's your other way. And then you would have this to match. You'd have trim and ties to match. And again, but that puts your prices up slightly in the cost of your fabric. If you've got, this is just a 3-inch strip off your fabric. And again, you don't have to put it on. You know, it's a nice to have. Okay, so we've got bits left over on either side, and what I have a little cheat for you here as well. Full of cheats, aren't I? Open it out and fold it down to where you're gonna want it. And then what I do is fold in ever so slightly and press. I am not a fan of where you can see the underbit sort of gaping. So I'm just going to give that a tiny, tiny press so that it's that shape. You see? And then what I'm going to do is get some quilter's tape. God, what did I ever do before quilter's tape? Really don't know. Pop that on there so that then I can fold that over, and it's just going to stay not having to battle it the whole time. And then I can turn that over and press, because that's going to encase that edge there. Like I say, I've got all the cheats for you today. That's going to look so pretty. And again, I'll repeat exactly the same on this edge here. I will fold it over, and using this as a guide, I mean, you can measure if you want, but otherwise I would just use it as a guide. Pop your iron on it, fold it in a bit, pop your iron on it, get a bit of your tape. And you did not dream it. We do have a community page on our website. Yes, we do. If you head to the main page and scroll down, then you will find that said community. And lots of you have been sending in your photos, so thanks for that. So yeah, that you can find it on the website. And if you email info@NatashaMakes with your photos of your makes, then do send that in. What I haven't done yet actually is upload my Christmas makes like I promised, because I had a bit of a week last week. The trouble with having old animals is that they do reach the end, and that happened with dear Poppy, our pony. We were working out she must have been in her 30s, but it doesn't necessarily make it any easier when those decisions have to be made. So yeah, I kind of lost an entire day to that in the week. So always playing catch up. And then of course we've got bank holiday and that. So apologies if your what am I going to say? If your parcels are delayed by a day or so, like I say, you've got bank holiday to contend with, and yeah, everything went a bit pink-tong in the week. But you guys are animal lovers, so I know that you'll understand. So we've now got back and front a topping, and then I'm just going to top stitch that down on here. Again, a nice holding stitch, or backwards and forwards. And along we go. I might just have to fill that bobbin in a minute. That's normally my trick that I save for Hochanda shows, is to completely forget to refill my bobbin beforehand. There we go. So I can show you that. There we are. Just top stitched along there. Get rid of that thread. Isn't it pretty? Oh, Becky, you're so sweet. She says, please don't apologise. I'm sure the parcels will arrive in time. Family, including animals, come first. Yeah, it's and the other thing that we didn't realise is that actually we are overloading now our little post office. I thought I was kind of doing them a favour, because, you know, unless you use your local post office, they have a tendency to shut, don't they? So our little one, we do drop and go. So we take all our bags and we drop them there, and we wave at them, and they sort of try and look pleased as we come in with bags, and all the poor OAPs are waiting to get their pension in the line just look at horror as we just go and drop them, and I think they're going to have to wait whilst they process all of your orders. But they don't, they drop and go. So then in between they're busy, they put the orders through. But of course it's taken them longer and longer. And of course we were dropping stuff off thinking it was going through that day. And then actually when we trace those, because everything gets sent out recorded delivery, what we realise is that sometimes they're not getting done the days that we take them in. So we're just keeping a little eye on that. And if we have to spread the through various local post offices, then we'll do that. But yeah, so we were sending them out thinking, oh, it's fine, everyone's getting them nice and quickly, and you haven't been. So you live and learn, don't you? I mean, we are only months old and we're still learning. That is our pocket. That's the pocket done. I mustn't lose the rest of that trim because I'm going to need it in a minute. But again, simple, easy. And then let's get the rest of our pinny up and together now, shall we? Okay, so the first thing that I tend to do is the top bit. And then I just work my way methodically round. There's a bit of... So you don't have to put a trim on. Let's be really clear on this. You don't have to put a trim on it at all. If you want to, then great. I'm looking, here it is. My seam's right, always helps. I'm going to turn over by around or about 1/2 to 5/8 of an inch. Again, this is not an exact science here, but I'm going to fold it over. I will give it a quick finger press. What I tend to do is measure it out, kind of one end and then the other, just to sort of check, and then check it in the middle. But because you're generally going to be folding along a hang on, the warp goes warp and the weft goes left, along the weft, then you're generally okay. And then turn it over again. And that's just going to hold in place then any raw edges. If you have an overlocker, just overlock, just shorten it by an inch and overlock if you want that raw edge, or overlock and fold. It's entirely up to you. I love my overlocker and I use it a lot. But I'm also aware that if I use it on a show like this, then there will be those people that think that they need to have an overlocker to do this project, and it's really not the case. So I will always show the longer way round as well, most of the time. But just be aware, how much thread do I have? Bobbin chicken. There we go. I'm just listening. It starts to sound different when I'm out. On my other machine, on the Beast, you can actually set it so that it knows how much bobbin fill you have left. I have no idea how it does it. Anyway, just top stitch along. And if you don't want to put any fabric across that top, then that's it. You know, that's fine. That's your top hem done. I mean, like really easy. Anna Sewing Nut says, I love coming in partway through because I've no idea what you're making. And it's like guessing who's done it. Well, generally I done it because Natasha makes, but we're making a pinny today out of calico. Pennies for £5, basically. And this is good quality calico. So, you know, it commands the heady sum of £3.75 a metre. So when I said pennies for a £5, that kind of includes also the price of your eyelets and cord or whatever. So yeah, that's where we're at this morning. So welcome. Elizabeth says the chef did it with a rolling pin in the dining room. I used to love Cluedo. I think it was one of those games that used to drive my parents mad because I had an insatiable appetite for it. Bit like my son has for Snakes and Ladders now, I realise. Oh, Elizabeth, you're in good form today, my love. Good form today. Fabulous. Okay, then back here. I'm going to fold... No, I'm not. Do you know what I'm going to do whilst I look at your lovely messages? Oh, yes, Rachel, good question. So Rachel is asking, block of the month, when is it scheduled? So normally, Rachel, it would be the first Wednesday of every month. However, when you guys decided that that was when you wanted it, because we asked the audience, when you guys decided that that was when you wanted it, I was already booked for the first Wednesday of the month to do a one-day special over on Hochanda. So that wasn't going to work. Where is, oh, here's my bobbin. I haven't taken it out yet. Oh, there's more on there than I thought. What was I panicking about? So instead, it will be the following. So that's what, the 9th, I think that's going to end up being. I'm breaking all the rules here by putting more on a one that already has. My grandmother would have a fit. But yes, that's when it's going to be. We have got a handful of subscriptions left for the brand new block of the month starting on the 9th. Jane will be here. If you want the details, they're all on the website, www.natashamakes.com. And like I said, I've got a handful left. They will start being posted out this week so that you have them for the 9th. Okay. All I'm waiting for is the white to arrive, because white again is another of those colours. White, black and grey at the moment for face masks people have gone crazy for. So I've had to just wait a bit. Actually, the fabric that we had coming in from America via Canada, because that's the crazy route stuff has to take these days, actually got here quicker than the plain white fabric. Oh, it's so much fun. Everyone loves trying to run a business during an international pandemic, right? It's all good fun. And the thing is that because we are now pretty much, well, lots of us, you know, life is carrying on, isn't it? I think we forget that actually some stuff is still really hard to get hold of, or struggling, or anything that has to come any distance is a bit of a struggle. But yes, Rachel, in answer to your question, it will be the 9th. Thank you for reminding me. The 9th at 10 o'clock. Jane will be here to start you off with your brand new block of the month, and anybody who wants to subscribe, it is not too late. You can have a look at www.natashamakes.com and you can subscribe, and it goes for 8 months, the subscription payments, and then it will be delivered to your door, which is fabulous. Now this is a very gentle curve over here, so I'm just going to fold it over. I'm not feeling the need to do lots of nips and clips and anything else. You can if you want, but I didn't with the other one. It was absolutely fine. So folding over about half an inch-ish, and then folding over again. The second fold is a little bit trickier, but there's a little bit of give in calico, so it's all fine. All good fun. And round we go. And then I'm just going to stitch that down. Ba, 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 ba. Now I'm not, you'll notice sometimes I go forward and back, sometimes I don't bother. It kind of, it sort of doesn't matter because I'm going to hem those edges anyway. So it's going to be folded as I go. And again, this is just a nice gentle curve, so nothing really to stress about. I don't like stressing. Nobody likes to stress. Let's not stress. Just moving the fabric around as I go. But certainly, if you ever put in a search for uses of calico, it's like, what, am I missing anything here? Aprons is always one of the first that it will come up with. Now what you'll notice, because we didn't trim or whatever, is that I've just gone, it's gone a little bit wider down there, and that's absolutely fine. That's going to be folded. Don't worry about it at all. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Ba, 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 ba. Folding it over. I guess it used to be that back in the day, like making your apron would be one of the first things you'd do in home ec classes, wouldn't it? They don't do that anymore, do they? Do people still have stuff that they made when they were little at home ec classes? There'll be some of you going, what's a home ec class? If you're millennial, you probably didn't have to do it. We had to make a sports bag, a round-ended sports bag, and insert a zip. I will never forget / forgive them for making us do that. So that's where my fear of zips came from for a long time, because I must have only been about 8. I had a lot of changes at school. I had 9 changes of school growing up. So yeah, I can generally remember what I did and when, just through what the age, through what school I was at. And yeah, that was a fun one. That was Micklefield, Mum, if you're watching. Do you remember that? I chose a paisley fabric and made a round-ended sports bag. That was also where I did the... Do you remember the other day I showed you the felt needle holder that I made for my grandma? It's got balloons and then just one coming in at the side, random, and that I got back when she died. It's funny, these things, but she loved it. She kept it. Bless her. And round we go. And now that we've done our arm bits, I'm going to put the covering over the top. Now, I mean, if you want to be really posh, there's no reason why you can't bind the arms or any of it, really. It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to repeat the same process just so that the top and the pocket match. So folding, let's just chop a bit off, shall we? Again, going slightly longer than we need. Oh, it doesn't even use a whole width of fabric for your 3 inches. My goodness me. So again, fold it in half and press. And then again, open it out. And fold. You can finger press to start off with. And press. There we go. What I will do, block of the monthers, is I'll get SJ to send out a email reminder so that you don't miss the show. I mean, obviously you can always catch it up on YouTube. You can always catch it up on our Facebook page, and you can also catch it up on our website as well. But just in case, just in case. So, same situation again. I'm just going to trim those threads. Okay. With the overhangy bits, I'm going to fold them in. And again, and again. And then just press. You don't have to do it this way. I just do this so that I don't get any sort of hanging over bits. And then, like I say, I just use a tiny bit of quarters tape. Ba, 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 ba. I'm waiting for our delivery of fabrics for tomorrow's show. And they are meant to be arriving between 9:59. I mean, who makes this stuff up, honestly? 9:59 and 10:59. What if he's a minute late? Are they here, Inga? No. No. Mm. Keep looking. And then I can tell you, once they're here, I can tell you what we're doing for tomorrow's show. But part of me, call me cynical, part of me doesn't quite believe that people will deliver on a bank holiday. So yeah, poor old Inga is on chief lookout, chief watch. Oh, hey up, the puppies are back. Our lovely dog walker that has the puppies on a Monday and Tuesday picked them up for an hour today. It's like, I don't normally do bank holidays, but I know you'll be on air, so I'll just pick them up and take them away for a bit. Like, thanks. They love it. I've never ever used a dog walking service before, apart from when we got married. Yeah, he's really, really lovely. And the puppies go to doggy daycare because during the pandemic, obviously they were only puppies. And I was like, oh no, they're not getting any socialisation. And of course, Margot is huge because she's a Dane. And Maud is small and furry and bouncy because she's not a hound. And generally a bit grubby. So I was like, they need some form of socialisation. So they ended up at doggy daycare and they have the best time. Right, so that's going to go over there like so. Now I know I could have just put that over a raw edge and just encapsulated the raw edge, and you wouldn't then have lots of layers to have to sew through, but that does overhang slightly your edge. I just think it gives it that extra bit of, I like it. So that's why. That extra little bit of weight. So let's pop this under the sewing machine here. And then let's top stitch down. There we go. If you have any other uses for calico that I haven't covered, please do share underneath. It would be really lovely, because I don't have all the answers. And I know a lot of you have been sewing more years than necessarily care to remember. Ba, 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 ba. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. There we go. So now we need to pop on a pocket. My daughter was so funny. She's nearly 2. And don't we all know it? But she had on a pair of trousers the other day, and she discovered she had pockets. And so she just spent the whole day walking like this with her hand in the pocket. So what are you doing? She had a pocket and she was not going to remove her hand from it at all. Like, okay then. What I just did was fold that in half. This is the good old-fashioned measuring knot way. Find your midway by folding it in half. Do the same with your pinny. She's a girl after my own heart there, with the love of a pocket. I cannot fault her. Again, this is great fabric because it'll hold that crease for me. Look at that, lovely. And there we go. I am going to line one crease on top of the other. Yep, it's a really technical way. Age old. I certainly didn't invent it. The old press in half and match the creases trick. And then pin. We're going to top stitch around those three sides, and that will be our pocket in place. And it just, the reason that I put on a pocket is so that you can pop everything in there. That was another beautiful thing. You know, I was saying about the uses of a pinny through the ages, and it's, you know, an extra set of hands with a big pocket, but it's also the pocket that, you know, holds all sorts of goodies in there, and wipes away tears and this, that and the other when you've got a scuffed knee and all that kind of stuff. And if you just want to check if you've got that pocket where you want it to be, so it will sit about there, just where my microphone is. I'm trying not to bang that. And yeah, no, I'm happy to have my pocket there. Again, you can attach that to whatever size. I realise I am sort of giant size, so that's I'm comfortable with that. Don't have much choice, do I? So, you know, I want my pocket maybe a little bit lower down, but it's also, it's in that sort of, I call it the splash zone of washing up when everything goes everywhere. I hate dishwashers, so I wash up by hand an awful lot. So, yeah, and it's always that bit, isn't it, that just gets a bit soggy sometimes. So that'll be fine. And then just top stitch. What I would say is, if you are a pocket user, just start slightly off the edge of your pocket, and I would go forward and back just over that edge. Just because it's going to reinforce that edge bit. Oh, where's my pin? What, actually, do you know what? What happened to my little wrist pin cushiony thing? I'm not done with that either. I leave stuff everywhere, am I right? There we go. And then just top stitch it down. And this is where, excuse me, a little frog in my throat. Those of you that have bought the spools of thread from us will be incredibly grateful, because they had so many neutrals in there. They were fab. We do still have a few. 20,000 metre spools for $9.99. I'll leave that price as it is. There we go. And up we go again. And again, go steady. If you want to hand crank, then do, because you are going through quite a lot of layers. And just stitch back over there. I can just see out of the corner of my eye. Going out to check, see if we've got our delivery, which should give you a clue that it's quite a special delivery that we're waiting for. So I really hope it gets here soon so that I can get cracking with tomorrow's show. So yeah, I should probably have pressed this fabric before I started. Whoops. Give a quick press now. So all that's going to leave, it's really starting to take shape, is the side and bottom hems. And again, we will just press those in the exact same way. So nothing super special about this. If you want to use your seams right to make sure that you're getting it exactly the same all the way through, then do. But folding, well, if you've overlocked, then you only need to fold once, unless you don't want to show that overlocked edge. But otherwise, if you're not overlocking, then let's hide that seam and let's do it twice. Fold twice. I have to say, I do really enjoy the natural feel of the calico. It is one of those things that I like. I like. And this is, you know, when I say this is a beginner's make, if you've got maybe grandkids that come around, it's a great make to make with them. They can make their own pinnies. It's basically straight line sewing, apart from the curve on the armpit, but that's pretty easy as well. And if you are someone that's a bit shorter, then you don't have to make it as long. Quite excited about having a couple of new pinnies. Okay, let's just do that other side as well. So just folding over. So calico, useful stuff, right? You can use it on your eco sponges. You can, if you don't want to use up your scraps, you can use it on the backing of your cushions, on the backing of your curtains. You can use it in your quilts for backing, well, as I have on the front of a quilt actually. It has so many uses. It is a raw untreated cotton, so it hasn't been dyed. So if you want to dye it, it will take a dye really well. And it's just an incredibly natural, versatile product. And that is why we love it. And that's why I feel that everyone should have a good stash of it. At some point we will get back to dressmaking, more than just, you know, pillowcase dresses. In which case the lightweight is perfect. It's the perfect weight for your toiles. I think like a medium weight fabric is considered to be about 164 GSM, something like that. And the lightweight is 144 GSM, I think. And that's just, what's GSM stand for? Is it grams per square metre or something? It's something like that. I don't know, it's one of those units we bandy about, isn't it? There we go. We've got one last seam to sew, and then we're all good. We've just got to then add in the eyelets, and we're all good. Anybody else got any questions that I need to? Thanks for the quick response, says Rachel. Well, you know, we give it a go. Susan says, thank you. Fabric supplies are an interesting issue. Yeah, they are. It's one of those things, isn't it? If as a startup business we can survive a national pandemic and find strategies to cope, to really give the least disruption to you guys who have supported and been incredible, absolutely incredible throughout everything. You know, when things have taken a little bit more time, or you know, if the post office have lost stuff because they've all been under, you know, inundated as well. You know, thank you for your support during all of this, because you know, we were what, three months old when it hit, 3-4 months old. Really no time at all for business. So we have had to adapt massively in ways that I'd never imagined. But I am someone that believes very heavily that things happen for a reason, and I think it will be the making of us. I really do, because it's forced us to do things that we weren't going to consider. We weren't going to consider having our own warehouse. We weren't going to consider any of that. We were going to do everything drop ship. But actually, being able to bring products in-house and have them here, it makes such a difference. But it certainly, it wasn't our business model to begin with. So, you know, everything happens for a reason, and it's all good. Note to self. When you decide to lock off your stitch, it really does help if you're actually on the fabric. Oh, it's just one of those mornings, isn't it? There we go. And we're off again. Then we'll put some eyelets in, and that's it, done. So that is a pretty quick and easy make. And we've done the whole thing in about just over an hour, I would imagine. Because I did chat a bit about fabrics. Can't deny it. I do love to chat fabrics. And I think I've found you some pretty ones this week. For those of you that are new to us, and maybe this is your first time watching, we are live every Monday and Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning for, well, as long as it takes me to make stuff and have a little chat and what have you. And then Thursdays, always look out on our website for Half Meter Heavens. And then during the week, if you just keep an eye on Facebook, if I've got any special offers or anything to share with you, then that is where I will let you know. But otherwise, just dip in and have a little look at what you can find. Josh works remarkably hard to keep, he keeps finding things to do on the website to make it better and easier for everybody to use. And he's the one that suggested the community page, which I think is really lovely to have. So please do, you know, send in your photos, info@Natasha Makes for that. And then SJ and Emma obviously work incredibly hard to load all of the items and keep everything ordered, you know, catalogued, so that, you know, today's deals will all be underneath where you can watch us live on the website, so they come up easily, and they do. So the maintenance, so when you go on some people's websites and you saw that it was last updated 3 months ago, ours is updated daily. So, you know, if there's anything that you can't find, just message us, we'll try and find it. But generally, we've got what they call a good sticky search. So if you can't find something, just pop it in the little search bar, and generally it will come up. Yeah, it's quite good like that. That was something that we were really insistent on when we started and when we developed our website, was to make sure that it would be user friendly, because I'm a bit of a technophobe. Right, okay, so let's put in some eyelets, shall we? For this, I am using a very useful size, which is 8.7 mil. It's very specific, isn't it? 8.7 mil. You can use, if you bought the eyelets for the dog poopy bags, yep, then you can use those, but they are a little bit bigger, so you might have to knot your cord twice. Or if you're going to use, actually you might get away with it if you're using your fabric to make your thingamajiggy, then you might only have to knot it once, or just simply stitch it on there. It's up to you. I like this because it rolls and it's not fixed. So that's why I like it. I am going to insert 4 eyelets, and let me show you first of all. These are the bits that you need. So when you get your eyelets, it will come like that to this tool. If you flip it over, one you can push it out, because this doesn't have any indentations in it. Hang on, let me get my unicorn horn to post. There we go. These are so useful. Yeah, so you're going to initially start with that flat bit there. The difference is that that side has a groove to hold the actual eyelet, can you see? Whereas that one is flat. So when we put this underneath, that will then go in there, and then we whack it. That's going to make a hole in your fabric for the eyelet to sit into. I'm probably teaching grandmother to suck eggs with all of this, but I didn't use eyelets and stuff like that for so long because the back of the packet, the information on the back of the packet is really small and a bit scary, so I just didn't do it. But actually, now that I use them, it's like, why did I not bother? Why did I avoid? So my placement here is going to be where those two seams meet. I'm going to pop it right in that corner there. Again, saving you having to measure. And again, let's pop it in the other side. There we go. And that, I mean, it really is as simple and as easy as this. And then let me show you. These are then the 2 bits that you need. So I'm going to push that through the front, and then that will go on the back. I'll get my unicorn horn out to push that out again. This will then hold the base. Oh no, this base, sorry. This base here sits into there like that. Let me see. There we go. Just sits in quite nicely. Then that will be the other side of your fabric. That will go on top. Bang, 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 and it's done. So the side that I want seen will be that one. Okay. Ah! But don't drop it everywhere. Oh no. Typical, typical. Okay, so I will spin this around. I'm going to whack the pointy uppy bit in there. That onto there. That sits in the groove there. Hammery bit goes on there. Bang, 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 we're done. Doesn't it look smart? Yeah, these are the brass ones. We've got various colours on the website for you. Dink, dink, dink. And then we will just repeat the process. So again, where those two seams are, I'm going to go in that area there. Spin that over, place that in there. Come on. There it is. And the other side. And then it's pretty much done. Once you get a wriggle on with these, they really are super easy to do. So that's going to go in that way. Rest it in there like that. Whee, down that goes. On that goes. And that's it attached. Done. Now, you know how we were very technical with everything? That's what I've got left over now. I need to go and get myself some more. You can do this going through front to back or back to front. It's entirely up to you. And this is how technical I was. Minding my microphone, obviously. I want that. Yep, about there. And then I just tied that off. What I'm going to see, actually, no, too short. And with this thickness of cord, it only needs I'm just holding it away from my microphone. And then that bit just comes around there, and again, I did it front to back, just personal preference. You only need about 1.5 meters, is what I discovered. Through there like that. There. And then find the middle point, cut it, knot it, and you're done. That's it. Right. That is one very, very simple apron that you can make and wear and make and wear and make and wear. There you go. Out of less than 1 meter of calico, with whatever trim you like. I love the trim. Hang on, let's have another quick look at that trim. Pretty, hey. And I do just like the detail of the metalwork on there. And that's it. So that is my rustic easy apron. Super, super easy. That's a couple whizzed up this morning. There you go, love. I hope that you've enjoyed the show. Any more questions? Let's just check. Yes, Anna, trust you to be out of neutrals. It's tricky. Home ec, it was domestic science. Yeah, in my day, but that was dot, says Anne. It's been called all sorts of things, hasn't it? Oh, Della had to make a sports skirt in navy blue. Well, I mean, you're lucky that there wasn't a pandemic because you'd not find any navy blue now. Yeah, there you go. Anna sewing that. And a calico apron is the perfect canvas for applique. An easy way to use up your scraps or those special fabrics. That's just it, isn't it? It really is. And if you love to embroider, you can embroider different things on there. I remember when I was working with Janet Clare, and she turned around and said, as soon, because she worked from home, that as soon as the apron was on, her family knew that she was working, because it was very easy for her to be like, I'll just put on another load of washing or this or that or the other, and then realised that she hadn't actually done very much. She'd just done home chores. But as soon as her pinny went on, people knew that she was working, she was creating stuff. And I think it's getting that division, isn't it? Becky says, I still have all my recipe books, including the graffiti on the covers from my cooking classes. I hated home ec. I hated home ec. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It was where my years of hatred for sewing started, said Julie. Oh no, why are you watching if you hate sewing? Oh, over it now. Oh, good. Had to do something with all the fabric I had stashed. Needs must. Needs must. Yeah, domestic science for me too, says Fiona. To learn how to use bias binding, we made a gingham a wrap mini skirt with matching bikini top made out of 2 triangles. You wouldn't be allowed to make that now, could you imagine? And I went to a very traditional grammar school. Bizarre choice from our DS teacher. Yeah. Oh, Ali had domestic science as well. Needlework was a separate lesson where we had to make an apron to wear in DS. Also a pump bag for gym. Yeah, so, you know, the drawstring bag. There we go. Maureen says, I'm 63. When my mum passed in 2014, we found my first sewing item from when I was 12. Can't believe she kept it all those years. Yeah, my mum still has my first ballet shoes. And they're tiddly tiny. It was about the only time that I was actually tiny in my life. Well, there you go. Calico. Aprons are also good to play with fancy stitches on the sewing machines that you don't normally use. All of these excuses. Brilliant. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? You, instead of putting gorgeous fabrics over there, you might want to just use some fancy schmancy stitching instead, and just use some beautiful stitchings instead. Elizabeth says, I make a machine cover with them. They look different on the lid. Very good. And depending on the company, I'm in Scotland, so most places are open as a normal day. Oh yeah, in terms of pandemic, yeah. Tote bags, shopping, they wash well. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I remember listening on the radio when the thing about reusable plastic bags first came in, where you had to pay for your plastic bags, so everyone was reusing their plastic bags, and saying that people were taking their plastic bags home, spraying, if they'd had meat, got meat juices on, spraying, and you had to disinfect your plastic bags. Please, life is too short. Get a canvas one that will last so much longer and whack it in the wash. Please, please, please. It doesn't have to be expensive. Look at the calico. Yeah. Elizabeth, it's added strength for men's big hands to go into when he is wearing it. Oops. Oh. Absolutely. And Anna Sonat says, measuring with a ruler is so overrated. Yeah, look at me, surrounded by beautiful rulers, and I fold stuff in half and crease it. There you go. And Ginny says that she has some of her mum's Aberdeen school notebooks and my dad's recipe books, and some in Polish. Wow, excellent. Fabulous. Look, guys, you've been a great sport this morning. Thank you ever so much. I'm going to go and chase my fabric delivery so that we have a great show tomorrow. Tomorrow, Not only have we got great fabrics, but we are also going to try something we've never done before on the show before. Ooh, yeah, cartonnage. So if you don't know what that is, tune in tomorrow. If you do know what it is and you love it, tune in tomorrow. Yeah, basically I will see you tomorrow. Have a lovely bank holiday. Let's face it, the weather's grim, so it must be a bank holiday, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Lots of love. Stay safe. Bye-bye.